I like Powered by Dead Bodies,
All right.
I think.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Welcome to Stargazing, a Stargate gazing podcast. I'm your host, Mary.
And I'm your other host, Kathy.
And each week we review an episode of Stargate alternating between SG1 and Atlantis.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Doing all right.
Excellent.
How's things?
Good. On break from school for at least not a week, but long weekend, which is always a good thing.
Absolutely. How was your
American
Thanksgiving?
Busy. It was mostly fine.
Were you hosting?
No, we weren't hosting this year. We went to Jeff's parents
Okay.
for dinner, and then we were supposed to go to my sister's just for dessert, and she told us to be there at 4:30 because she thought that was when they would be having dessert. But then when we got there at 4:30, they were just sitting down to dinner, and she definitely could have let us know that before we left our house.
Yes.
So that we weren't just sitting around for 45 minutes or so doing absolutely nothing while everyone was eating their dinner. But that's not what she chose to do. So we sat around at my sister's house while everybody ate, not eating because we'd already had a large meal and weren't hungry. And that was annoying.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's the thing my sister does is she invited us 3 times to eat dinner with them. I told her all 3 times we're eating dinner at Jeff's parents. We'll come join you for dessert. But Katie hears what she wants to hear.
Oh, geez. Oh, geez.
So she's like, we set a place for you if you want any food. And we're like,
Oh my
no, we
gosh.
told you already. We only wanted to join you for dessert. So we were both rather annoyed by that. But
Yeah.
it was fine.
Yeah.
And then she had some friends over that we hadn't met before. And it was the classic, oh, hey, you used to be a personal trainer. You know a lot about running. Here's my issues with running.
Cool.
Fix me. I'm like, yeah, great. This is awesome. I would have to see you running, but here's a few brief pointers based on what you're describing to me.
You should have just looked them over once and been like, you should stop running.
Yes, I should have.
It's not for you, Jen.
But it was fine.
Well, that's something.
It just felt like a really long day, though.
Yeah.
How about you?
It was fun. I went to my cousin's. It was the first year handing off to the next generation for our family. So
Excellent.
it went pretty nice. My cousin's got a nice house and had a lot of food. It was all right. My older brother came
Excellent.
for dessert, so I saw some of my
nice.
actual immediate
Like
family.
actual dessert, or did your cousin tell him, we're going to be having dessert at this time, but surprise, we're only just starting our dinner?
We did eat a little later than she thought, but we were done with dinner by the time anyone else had arrived for dessert.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, so we had a good time. My younger brother hosted his wife's family, so I didn't see him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good for them.
Yes, good for them.
Anything else going on this weekend?
I don't think so. I built a new cat tree that I bought like 2 months ago, finally put it together for Mr. Blue Steel.
Excellent.
He gets to be on high now, taller than anyone else in the house, which is only the 2 of us, and he likes
I was going to say, which is you?
Just the 2 of
Is there
us.
someone else that I'm not aware of that has moved in?
No, but he likes being tall, so
Fair.
he's a cat. He likes to be
Yeah.
up. I had put in a suction cup window perch that I got for free from the rescue on the windows. So maybe I can take it down now because you can look out the window from on high on that one, because it's chilly out now and I have very old windows that are not well insulated. So I like to keep the curtains all closed.
Yeah, fair.
But we'll see. Yeah, so not anything super exciting.
That is good.
Yeah.
Getting some relaxed time is good.
Indeed.
You know who doesn't get any relaxed time?
Daniel,
Daniel.
Ow.
specifically.
Really all of SG1, but it's specifically Daniel in this episode.
I mean, a lot of them get to sit around for a little while waiting,
True.
watching
This is true.
things happen.
Sam does some work.
Yeah, Sam does
With
some
Ball.
work. They make Ball do work.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What is this episode we're talking about?
This is Stargate SG1, Season 10, Episode 3, The Quest, Part 2.
Season 10, Episode
2.
3?
I wrote 3. That's not what it is. I don't know why I wrote 3.
Isn't it like 11?
It's 11. You're right. I wrote down 3. I don't know why. That was weird. Yes, this is Season 10, Episode 11.
Yeah.
The Quest
Are you confusing
Part
it with
2.
Season 3 of Atlantis? Is that where the 3 is coming in?
Maybe. I'm really not sure where that came from at all. I'm just messing up episode numbers these days.
Apparently.
Yeah. But yeah, so 1011, The Quest Part 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
It starts with a recap, but let me get my notes first
All right.
before attempting to recap.
That sounds good.
Because I forgot that I didn't already have them open. The episode starts with a recap. In a generic Middle Ages village, we learn about a magical beast protecting the Sangreal. No, it's not Ball, but he does show up next, and he knows the name of that beast. Surprise, surprise, their old man guide is actually Adria, but neither she nor Daniel are true of spirit enough to take the Sangreal from its pedestal. Oops, there's a dragon.
Oops, dragon.
End recap.
Nice. We start back in the cave right where we left off with the dragon. They're facing off with the dragon. It's not looking good. The tunnel sealed behind them, so they're trapped in this cavern with the dragon. And the dragon shoots a fireball at them, but Adria blocks it with her shield. She saves everyone.
She does.
I was like, well, you did one good thing, Adria, but she only did it because she still needs them.
Right.
The dragon gets grumpy about this and tries to take them out, it seems like, with its tail, which, fortunately for them, it whacks the wall behind them and the tunnel's no longer blocked.
Why didn't Adria's shield protect against its tail? Why did they all duck like they were going to get hit by the tail if she had her shield up? But yes, fortunately, it opened their way out.
Yes, very convenient. So they zip down the tunnel a little bit, and Vala's like, whew, well, it can't fit through the tunnel, so we're good. But the dragon shoots some fire at them. So they've got to keep running to outrun the fireball, which they actually just turn a corner, and it goes by them. So yay.
Conveniently located corner.
Yes, indeed. Then Teal'c says there's an exit this way. So they go that way, and they end up outside. Woo, that's nice at least.
Yeah.
Some daylight. And Mitchell's like, what happened back there? Daniel says, it was a hologram. It has the Sangreal he's talking about, not the dragon. Hologram. And they're like, what? It wasn't there? We still have nothing? Adria says they have to go back inside because the dragon is the final task. So she's finally on board with doing the tasks.
Yeah.
But Ball is not, of course.
Yeah. And I was like, why isn't Ball using its name? But we learned that shortly after credits.
Yeah, too bad because the dragon is not confined to the cave and is now outside. And then we're at credits.
Yes. Similar to the SGC, there's an opening in the ceiling that flying things can get out of.
Yeah.
After credits, everyone is making a mad dash for the tree line.
Run away! Run away!
Because they were standing in the middle of a field initially. Once they get to the trees, almost getting hit by a fireball on their way, they debate what to do next. Ball's like, well, it can't see us anyway, so let's go back to the village. Daniel says that Adria is probably right, that this does have to be the final test. And Daniel asks the same thing that I was wondering. Ball, don't you know its name? Shouldn't you be able to get it under control? But yeah, not surprisingly, turns out Ball was lying about that one.
I mean, they would have killed him if he didn't. So
this is
I get
true.
The self-preservation aspect.
True. Yeah, he doesn't know what the actual name is. Not at all surprising.
No.
So they're going to try to figure out what that might be. Daniel says that names are often magic in lots of mythological stories. So if you know the secret name, you can steal its power. They just got to figure out what that name is. Vala suggests Daryl the dragon. Mitchell suggests Smokey. And best of all, Teal'c says perhaps Puff, which I just thought was hilarious.
Perhaps Puff.
I love Teal'c's pop culture knowledge.
Right? So do I. Daniel's getting annoyed at all of them talking because he's trying to, rack his brain for any kind of memory of something that he might have read somewhere along the way. They're still wondering if maybe this thing might be a hologram, but Sam says no, she definitely saw the gunfire bouncing off of its armor, so it is not a hologram. Or if it is a hologram, it is very similar to the one that Mitchell was up against, and so can still presumably do a fair amount of damage to them. And their weapons also are completely ineffective, so they don't have a ton of options here. However, Mitchell remembers he does have some C4. Sam also does, so everybody takes their C4 out that has it anyway, and stick their blocks together. And now they just need to lure Daryl to the ground, Mitchell says. Vala's delighted that he went with her option for a name. As they're debating who should go out there, and throw it at the thing. Teal'c basically just takes it and runs out with it after Mitchell tries to be the one to go and do it. And so he runs out into the middle of the field, looking very determined. He fires his weapon into air to get the thing's attention so it will be attracted to him instead of the tree line. It swoops towards him. He throws it in the thing's mouth, and it explodes. The C4 explodes anyway. The dragon does not. It just has the slightest bit of indigestion, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's it. Yep. No success with that plan. So Teal'c, realizing that now he's screwed, sprints back to the tree line himself.
Meanwhile, Vala urges Daniel to come up with something quickly about his name. So Daniel's thinking about it. He's thinking about the Guardian's name. And he thinks the Guardian is Morgan Le Fay, who set up everything. So maybe that's it. And Vala's like, cool, all right. And runs out into the field and just shouts Morgan Le Fay while Daniel's chasing after her. And that doesn't work, of course, because that's not its name. I don't know. Or not the
Morgan
name.
Le Fay isn't the name
Isn't
of
the name
that
of-
it would have known.
Yes. And then she tries Daryl, but that also does not work. And then Daniel runs up and shouts Gyanos Lal, which is what Morgan's name was as an ancient long ago. And that works. The dragon disappears.
Woo.
And yeah, everyone's like, whoa, that's good. So they head back to the cave because the Sangreal has to be real this time. But when Daniel puts his hand on it, again, it goes right through. It's a hologram. And Sam is like, oh, come on. Which I agree.
Yes.
But something does happen. They are suddenly all transported out of that cavern, except for Adria, who's left behind.
We're in some random chamber. Next, there's all kinds of old-looking furniture in here. It seems like it's a cave or something. There's torches.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Secret lab.
But there's also blue glowiness, so we know that it's got to be ancient because it's glowing in blue. I was confused why Baal would have been transported with them if it left Adria behind, but whatever, we don't find that out. It did take Baal with them.
I mean,
it
sounds like it was set up to be anti-Ori, but not necessarily. They didn't know anything about the Goa'uld, did they? And he's in a human body.
No. Goa'uld were around at that time, but they might not have known about it.
He's
I don't
mostly
really know.
human looking.
True. But I mean, so is Adria.
Yes, that's true.
Anyway, Mitchell's also confused as to why it let Baal in, but Daniel does say that he doesn't think Morgan was too concerned with Goa'uld, just Ori, but I still thought it was weird. Just a convenient plot device.
Only one of them is bent on destroying the Ascended Ancients.
This is true. This is true.
Except for Anubis.
Yes, but he's not around anymore.
No.
You doubt my power.
They have a look around. They don't see anything that resembles the Sangreal or anything that looks like it could be particularly useful. So what would Morgan have been trying to protect in here? And then Sam thinks she knows because somehow in looking around the room, she's the only one that noticed that there's an old man standing in a glowing blue case in the wall.
I think it only started glowing when Sam got close to it.
Oh, okay. I was like, how did they miss that?
Yeah.
The case looks a bit more like ice than an actual, case built with glass or whatever. And there's a stone plaque
It's company policy to give you the plague.
set in the side next to it. It says, "Here lies Mirrodin, Archmage of the Round." So they have finally found Merlin himself, apparently still corporeal in some way, even though he's frozen for who knows how long. Over 1,000 years, Daniel says it must have been. Teal'c says it looks similar to the thing that Jack was kept alive in Antarctica for a while. So now they got to figure out how to get him out of here. Vala finds a thing. It is a stone structure, but it's got one of those kinds of windows of knowledge that Jack got his head stuck in way back when, before they met the Asgard. So Daniel tells her to be careful just as it reaches out to grab her. She ducks away and does manage to miss it. And now that thing has come out of the wall, the stasis chamber seems to be deactivating, and Merlin is now free. He's not conscious, though, so they catch him and pick him up and bring him over to a large table and lay him down on that. Mitchell complains that he's heavier than he looks. Daniel puts his hand on Merlin's forehead and somehow knows from that he's alive. Not the normal place to take someone's pulse, but technically it
No.
could be possible to feel a pulse there. Not usually, though, unless someone's got very prominent vessels there. So while they're trying to figure out maybe how to wake Merlin up, Sam says the rest of them should take a look around and see if they can figure out how to get out of there. Ball says, yeah, let us know what you find. And when everyone glares angrily at him, he says, oh, I guess I could come too. Especially because Teal'c is shoving him
Yeah.
at this point.
So they head outside. They find some daylight and they go that way, and they are then outside. It looks completely different than the planet they were on. That one was lush, and this one is a desert. There is a Stargate right outside as well as a DHD, so that seems like it would be good news. And Mitchell's like, that's great. We're further away from Adria. Sam says, but she does have the knowledge of the Ori, and so she knows as much about the Stargates as the Ancients and will probably be able to figure out where they've gone. Inside, Daniel and Vala have a look around while they're waiting for Merlin to wake up. Daniel says it's amazing how similar this is to the myth, and he says that Morgan trapped Merlin in a cave and left him frozen for all of eternity. But in this world, she was trying to protect him. He thinks that Morgan did in fact destroy the Sangreal because if she hadn't done it, other ancients would have, so instead she kept the one person who knows how to make the Ori killing device alive, so he could one day make it again, maybe. The rest of the team comes back in. Mitchell announces they are stuck here officially, wherever they are. They found a gate, but they can't dial out. Sam says someone has tampered with the DHD. Ball offers to fix it, of course, because reprogramming is his specialty. He reminds everyone. But then Merlin starts to wake up and asks where he is. He tells Sam she looks familiar and that she's Guinevere. And he gives her a hug, and this is very awkward for Sam.
Yes.
She says, oh yeah, it's good to see you. He recognizes Mitchell as Percival, so Merlin's not quite with it yet. He's recognizing the folks around him as people of King Arthur's court.
But it wasn't a dream. It was a place. And you were there.
Ball does not have any time for this. He doesn't want to waste time with this old fool. He's like, we should go back to the gate so he can start his work. Merlin gestures at him to be silent, and then Ball can't talk. At all. He just can't talk. Which is good news for Teal'c and everyone else.
Teal'c's pretty happy about it.
Yeah.
So are the rest of them, yes.
Daniel turns to Merlin and asks him to remember the Sangreal and Morgan and why he's there at this moment. He mentions Morgan's name as Ganos Lal, and he's like, oh, yeah, I haven't heard that name in a long time. He tries to catch Merlin up. He says, 1,000 years have passed. We know who you are, and we know about Atlantis, and we have met the Ori. And that gets Merlin's attention. And asks Daniel to tell him more, and Daniel's like, okay, this is going to take a while. So the rest of the team is going to go check out the cave while Daniel has a chat with Merlin.
Back on the other planet, there are some Ori there. They've met up with Adria somewhere. I don't know. She's with them. And they're in that old-timey village from before, telling everyone to make way for her. There's a prior there that is coming up to meet them, and he says the gate activated on its own, and only seconds later it closed again, so Adria asks if anyone happened to see that address. Presumably that would be the address that would tell them where the SG team has gone, but no, the prior says nobody saw that. So she wants to go take a look at the dialing device. I guess she just walked back here, but did she have to, dodge all of the same bullshit that they had to get around to get in?
That's a good
Was there
question.
an easier exit? That's why I was a little confused about how she was just there.
That's true. Maybe it all... We never see. Maybe it all just stops after they defeat the thing because they don't need it anymore because someone got there. I have no idea. Very strange.
What happens to all the people that were frozen outside? Are they...
They're going to be very
free?
confused.
Yeah. We don't find out what happened to them. I would hope they're not going to just be stuck there forever now that the
Actually,
spell's
you know
gone.
what's going to happen to them? Probably Adria will just kill them all.
Oh,
the
well,
Ori.
we don't know that for sure, though.
Well, they kill everyone else.
Yeah, do they?
Yeah.
I don't remember that somehow.
She orders it right here.
Oh, okay. Somehow I missed that. Anyway.
I was thinking the poor barkeeper really should have taken them up on going with them.
Adria says that as soon as they figure out where the team went, they're going to leave. The prior asks what about the village, and Adria asks if they've agreed to accept Origin, and they have not, so they're going to burn the village. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to kill every single person, though.
They're probably going to kill them all.
They might, but
yeah,
not quite the same.
In the chamber, Daniel is explaining the situation to Merlin still. Merlin comments he has an unusual understanding of the way of ascended beings, and Daniel's like, yeah, because I was one.
Brag.
Oma Zasala gave me a hand. Brag. It was a brag. He explains that he ended up being sent back without his memory because he didn't enjoy the non-interference that the ancients are still touting, even though they're on the brink of their own destruction. Merlin agrees that the policy of non-interference is absurd because of the threat of the Ori. Daniel says Oma would agree with you. And Merlin's like, Oma's only concerned with the individual. She may have good intentions, but so did the Ori. But she must have seen something in you, Daniel, to believe you worthy. This is really leaning heavy into Daniel's special territory these last 2 episodes.
It really is. I feel like that happens a lot. We like to keep talking about how special Daniel is for some reason.
That is so extremely unhelpful.
Mitchell, Sam, and Ball come back, and they're like, there's nothing else here. How's it going? Daniel says he's not sure. Merlin says before he agrees to work with them, he wants to know if they're willing to do whatever it takes to go through with this. And they are like, we are totally on board. Let's do this. Then Merlin's like, okay, there's a lot to do. And he heads over to the head grabby device and sticks his head right in. Because he knows how to use it and is an ancient, it doesn't grab his head and keep it there and shove a bunch of knowledge into it. It lets him do work on it. Bloop, 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 bloop. And there's a thing that pops up in the room, like a projection. There we go.
Yeah.
And things start moving around. I don't know how to describe exactly.
In the projection specifically.
Yes.
Not around the entire room.
Random stuff just flies around.
Like in the Disney version where that witch is using her magic to make the broom sweep the floor and the dishes are washing themselves.
Yeah.
Or is it Merlin that does that? I don't even remember. It's been a long time since I've seen that one.
Same.
Yeah, sometime later, Vala comments that it looks like Merlin has been at this for hours. Any ideas what he might be doing? Daniel thinks that he's virtually piecing together some base molecules, maybe building another Sangral. Sam hopes.
So 3D printing?
Yeah, basically. At a molecular level,
Yeah.
I guess. Finally, Merlin steps away from the thing and takes a break. He is fantastically old, after all, and very tired, so he needs a rest after standing for hours and staring into that thing. And then there's a weird light in the chamber. Something shimmers, and from outside, Tilk radios in that they need to come quickly. And Mitchell and Sam need to go and see what he is seeing. So they run out, and it's a different planet again. This one is cold, it's windy, it's nighttime, there's snow. So that is very different from the bright sunny desert that they left. Tilk tells them that the gate activated on its own again. The crystal in the obelisk started glowing, and then everything changed, just like before. So presumably another planet yet again. This one probably doesn't have a functioning DHD either, because Sam's guess is that all of these were tampered with in order to make this planet-to-planet jumping happen. She's going to give it a try anyway, but not likely to work. Ultimately, she thinks that they're going to have to figure out some new way to program the DHD, and hopefully that's a thing that she can do. Maybe Ball might need to help with that.
Maybe. Ugh, the worst. Back inside, Merlin is telling them about his many lifetimes he's lived in Atlantis, on Earth, as an ascended being, back home, back with humans, Arthur's court. It's all been crazy. I had such a life. Many lives. But still, there's not enough time. And he says he has slept too long and his body betrays him, so it's not looking good for Merlin.
Nope.
Daniel's like, you gotta help us, though, because we're all screwed. So Merlin's like, all right, one last task before I rest. So he heads back over to the device and sticks his face in, but before he does, he takes a moment to turn specifically to Daniel and be like, good luck, Dr. Jackson, because again, Daniel's the special one.
Of course.
Who shot me?
And then he's pushed backwards by light again away from the device. That's not good. Yeah. Daniel and Vala rush to check on him, and he is dead. They put him on the table. There's a little bit of a time jump, I think, because Sam is back in there with them. Vala says it's very strange. It's almost like Merlin knew what was going to happen. And Mitchell's like, well, we have no Sangreal and nobody off this planet, so things aren't looking good. But Ball's like, I can fix the dialing device. Surprise, Ball can talk again because Merlin's dead.
Everyone's disappointed.
Everyone's disappointed. Sam does then say, well, he is good with dialing programs. I guess if we work together, we can maybe do this. Maybe.
So, sometime later, we're back outside. Sam and Ball have been working on this thing for a while. They're talking about some MacGuffin stuff. And Ball just knows that this would be a lot easier if it was the nice warm desert planet. And they continue working. So, guess they've been at it for a while. They're not having a lot of luck, and Ball's getting whiny about the weather.
I mean, my hands would be very cold too.
Mine would too, but you don't hear anyone else complaining. It's just Ball.
That's true.
And I was wondering why his hagfish wasn't better at keeping him warm and functioning
That's a good question.
in cold weather. It can do everything but keep your hands warm if it's cold out, apparently. Yeah. Back inside, Daniel is sitting on the floor next to Merlin's body, thinking about stuff. Merlin had said there was one more thing that he needed to do before he could rest, and he had said good luck to Daniel before sticking his face back in the machine, so Vala had assumed that Merlin meant he needed to build them one more weapon before he died, and Daniel thinks that maybe she's right about that, but he just didn't have enough time. They saw that the computer thing was a virtual interface of some sort, and maybe there's some ancient information in there that can help them out. But he does know that those kinds of things tend to be too much for the human brain to handle and can potentially even be fatal from what they saw with Jack. So even though Vala says that maybe she can go and give it a try, Daniel does not like that idea. All of a sudden, while Vala is distracted staring at Merlin's body with Daniel, Daniel gets up and runs over to the device and activates it before she gets the chance to. It doesn't grab his head, though, the way that the one that Jack used did. But we do see Vala looking worried.
Yes. So she radios the rest of the team to be like, she needs some help because Daniel's done something. Mitchell heads inside and tells Sam to keep working with Ball. Mitchell comes in to find that Daniel is on the floor unconscious while Vala is kind of holding his head. It's not good. And he's like, what did Daniel do?
You said pyramid, it's a ziggurat.
But we don't know yet, because then we are back with Adria, who's made it to the desert planet that they were previously on. They have found no one there, but Adria knows they were there. And so she's going to work on finding the next address. So she holds her hand over the DHD, and it gets all glowy, so that's how she works. Good luck, Adria. I guess. Not really. It does seem faster than playing with devices like Sam has to.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yes. They're not really trying to figure out where someone went, though. They're trying to
That's
make
true.
it dial for them.
They are
so
very true.
different aims with their DHD tampering. Speaking of DHD tampering, we are back on the cold night icy planet. Paul thinks maybe they're ready to give it a try, but whatever it is, it's not working. Sam doesn't find any anomalies. The thing isn't dialing out. They don't know what's going on. Bal takes a little bit more time to complain about how cold it is. He can't feel his fingers. He wants to go back inside and warm up and maybe just take their chances on this planet. Just stay here. Or take their chances on whatever planet they get sent to next. And maybe that one will be warmer and they can figure it out how to market the thing on that planet. But Teal'c asks him how he knows that it won't just be worse on that planet, which is an excellent point.
Very true.
But in any case, the DHD starts dialing, so they're going to find out in just a minute. Inside the chamber, Daniel is still sitting there with his head in his hands, and Vala's next to him. Mitchell's just kind of there trying to comfort him. They see a bit of a flash. Merlin's gone. So I guess he got left behind at the other planet?
Only live bodies.
Yeah. Even though the rest of the chamber looks the same, the one thing that's different is that Merlin's body is gone. Mitchell radios to Sam outside to ask what just happened, so she tells him about the new planet that they are on. It is definitely warmer than the other one. It's a pretty jungle that she calls spooky. It is rather foggy there, so they can't really see very far, but at least it's warm. She asks how Daniel is, and Daniel's sitting up. So Mitchell sounds optimistic about that fact. He'll get back to her on anything else. Daniel does start moving and reaches for some water. Mitchell asks how he's doing, and Daniel doesn't answer that. He just says, he was right. You do look like Percival. We spent a lot of time in this room. Vala and Mitchell have no idea what he's talking about, and then suddenly it turns out that Daniel has Merlin's memories. Not necessarily all of them, but many of them. And yeah, Merlin wasn't kidding. He does have multiple lifetimes worth of memories in his head, or did, and now they're in my head. Most importantly, he has some memories of the work that was happening in this lab. And so, even though his body had deteriorated, Merlin gave Daniel the strength of his knowledge on his way out, I guess.
Yeah.
So Daniel gets up and goes back to the machine thingy. And as he's looking into it, he says, I see it. I can do this.
It's a unit system. I know this.
Mitchell is very skeptical because, as he says, twice a device like that almost killed Jack. Both times the Asgard had to save him. But Vala's optimistic that maybe this device is different, even though it looks the same, hopefully. Maybe it's got less information in it because it has a specific job that it was used for. Mitchell hopes that's right.
And then we are back on the planet Adria is on, which is now the cold planet.
She must be freezing in her scantily clad armor.
Maybe her shield protects her from the elements, too.
Maybe.
One of her people comes out of the cave to report they found the body of an old man. That's Merlin. So they're right behind them at this point. Adria is, though, getting annoyed and impatient. But good news, each time she does this, she's able to figure out their destination more quickly. So she will catch up to them. It's just annoying. On the spooky planet, Sam and Ball continue to work while Teal is in the background watching. Sam thinks maybe they shouldn't focus on the DHD, but maybe something in the obelisk is what they need to tamper with to get this to work. And Ball's like, no, dummy. You don't know what you're talking about. Sam says the Brainiac who spent 3 days trapped in that force field, and I really enjoyed Teal'c behind enjoying Sam mocking Ball. It's very entertaining, and that's why I'm saying it. Yeah. They continue back and forth about why or why not it's feasible that the device they're looking for is in the obelisk versus the Stargate. More MacGuffin science, as you say.
Yes.
Sam's gonna try the obelisk, whether Ball likes it or not, or thinks it's a good idea. So she starts to do that.
Back inside, Daniel's continuing to work from the device. We see things being built on the three-dimensional imaging platform hologram thing. There we go.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Eventually, the thing shuts down. Daniel steps away from it, looking very tired and a little bit unsteady. Apparently, that was just stage one, the first step towards creating Merlin's weapon. And there is actually a thing that has solidified on the platform at this point. Vala asks if it's real, and she touches it. So, yes, it is real. But what exactly this thing does? Who knows? So, yes, this thing is a three-dimensional printer because, as Daniel says, it allows you to design and configure something virtually and then materializes it.
All right.
This doesn't look anything like the tiny red jewel that they thought that the Sand Graal was going to look like, but Daniel says, no, that's just the final stage. That's the thing that makes the whole thing work, but this is the first stage. Mitchell asks how long it's going to be before they can maybe put the whole thing together, but Daniel suddenly is overcome with dizziness and can't answer that question. He says he'll be all right. He just needs to get some water, and when Vala goes to get him some water, Daniel instead teleports it over to himself. So now he's got magical powers also, in addition to Merlin's memories, apparently. He is as surprised as anybody else that he was just able to do that. Jack got healing powers. Daniel got telekinesis, he says. Vala reminds him, Jack almost died. You said this might be different. It's not looking so different. Daniel promises that he'll be okay, but Mitchell is as unconvinced as Vala is. You don't get fancy powers unless there's been major redecorating inside your skull, he says, which is a very funny way to put it.
Yes.
But Daniel's like, well, it just requires a higher level of brain function. Merlin would have foreseen that. He wouldn't have killed me. I can handle it. Sure.
Sure, Daniel.
Yeah.
Outside, Sam's having trouble with her obelisk. She sadly has to admit she needs some help from Ball. He gloats a bit, calls her dumb by galactic standards. Then Sam punches him.
Yeah.
Which I enjoyed.
Completely knocks him down.
Yeah. And then tells him if he's not going to be helpful, then they should just kill him. And so he's like, fine, I'll help. Teal'c again, enjoying all of this in the background. Yep. So Sam's like, good. He holds up his hand to be pulled up, and she just puts a device in his hand instead, which was also good. I enjoyed all of this. Go, Sam.
Yes.
Inside, Daniel's back at it. He's printing more things. Stage 2. Daniel finishes and says he must rest. He's not as young as he used to be, which is true of all of us at every moment.
Yes, this is true. You're older than you've ever been, and now you're even older.
Exactly. Vala asks Daniel if he's okay, and he looks at her like, I know you. And she's like, yeah, of course, that's me, Vala. Daniel says he had a strange dream and everything was covered in ice, so he's not quite with it. He's not doing well. Mitchell shouts to him to try to get his attention, and that snaps him out of whatever was just happening with him, which was not good. And he's like, what's going on? And Vala says, we're losing you. And you're a little bit worse every time you use that machine, and you're not fine. Daniel says he has too many thoughts in his head and he can't concentrate. And he has to let this happen, and it's the only way he can keep building the weapon. Vala is very upset about this. She turns to Mitchell and tells him he has to tell Daniel he can't do this. He'll listen to you. And Mitchell's like, no, they won. What team have you been on? And Mitchell's like, and also we need this. Vala continues to argue with him, and he's finally like, welcome to the team for real. Because this is all about watching your friends risk their own lives while you just stand there and watch. And that's the worst part of this. And he has to do this. So now we just sit and watch. You're one of us now.
Indeed.
I thought that was really good, given earlier how badly Mitchell wanted to go through that C4 and Teal'c would not let him.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, outside, Sam and Ball are working on the obelisk. Teal'c tells them, clearly you work well together. And I was like, why would you burn Sam like that? That's just so mean.
It really is.
Even if he was just trying to insult Ball, it is an insult to Sam, too.
It's true.
They've narrowed down whatever program it is that they're going to have to work on. So Sam thinks it'll be a simple matter to shut it down from there, even though she's kind of glaring at Teal'c because she's insulted by what he just said. Meanwhile, back on the icy planet, Adria's just about there, getting ready to get the gate to dial out. She tells the prior to get his men ready. It is time. Back in Merlin's chamber, Daniel shuts down the machine, tells everyone to get to the gate now because they're coming. How he knows that, who knows, but he does. Sam warns everybody outside that there's an incoming wormhole. Everybody gets their guns out. Everyone takes cover. And, of course, then the Ori soldiers come through, and there's a big firefight. Bal says he's going to go get help. Was he trying to get help, or was he just running away? We don't really know.
We don't know.
Shouldn't he also have his personal shield, though? So maybe he was just trying to get help.
But it doesn't help, because doesn't he get shot?
I was about to say, but he does get shot, so I guess I didn't understand why he didn't have his personal shield up, because
That's a good question.
He had it before, didn't he?
I don't know.
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I just assumed. Anyway, then the obelisk activates again.
Yeah. And then Adria is inside with Daniel, who tells Adria she's too late. But Adria says, you haven't finished, so I'm in time. What are you talking about? And Daniel's like, things are different now. Outside, Daniel's got some real magic powers happening because then lightning comes down and kills all the Ori soldiers.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't hear any thunder, but out of your fingers, was that like sparkles?
Which is very, very strange. I don't remember these magic powers before.
Nope.
But that takes a lot out of Daniel. Back inside, Adria's like, so draining. You should have saved your energy to deal with me instead of helping your friends. Daniel, though, is like, would that have made a difference? And Adria says, probably not. Outside, they're like, what the heck was that? They don't know, but Sam says, let's not stick around to find out. Let's dial out of here before anyone can dial in. So, did they fix the DHD before that happened?
I think that they had just fixed it.
Okay, that's why
when
Teal'c was
the
like,
incoming wormhole.
Okay.
Yeah, it was triggered. I think that they were about to get ready to dial out, if I remember right.
Gotcha. So yeah, they're going to dial out before anyone can dial in. Vala says she's going to run in to check on Daniel, but she doesn't have to because Daniel comes flying out of the cave.
Literally in the air.
Yes.
Being thrown, yes.
But not of his own volition. It was Adria. They tried to shoot her, but of course she has her personal shield activated. Vala tries to get all mom on her and tells her to stop right now, but Adria's like, no, mother, sorry. She goes to attack the rest of the team, but Daniel stops her. And then they fire energy beams at each other. They're kind of just doing that face-off energy beam thing. I don't know how. Yeah.
Evil Emperor style.
Yeah. So Daniel tells everyone else to get through the gate while he's doing that. And Sam's like, we're not leaving you. But Daniel says he promises he's right behind. So they all go through while Daniel and Adria keep fighting. They both stop though. And Daniel is basically out of energy now.
Does anyone have any orange slices?
So Adria walks over to him. And that's all we see of Daniel.
It is. And then sometime later, everyone's in Daniel's office except for Daniel. So really just SG 4/5, 80%?
Yeah.
Is that what we decided to go with? Yeah. They're trying to figure out how they can maybe get back to that planet or where that planet might have been. Sam says that the DHD buffer, of course, typically holds the last 50 addresses, which we've learned before. Although, as I believe Rodney has said, it doesn't necessarily store them in the order they were dialed.
Yeah.
So they've got a lot of planets to check because even if they figure out the first planet, there will be 50 more planets to go through once they get there. Vala says that Adria found a way around the problem, but of course she's got special powers. Teal'c doesn't really think that it would probably do them a whole lot of good even if they could find the right planet because he doesn't think that they would have just stayed there with Daniel. But Vala points out that at least they'd be doing something and maybe they could find a clue of where they would have gone to from there.
Yeah.
Vala is the most distraught of the group. I think everybody else knows that Daniel is always fine and never dies, but Vala hasn't experienced that.
That's true. Also, she's in love with Daniel, too.
But also, she's in love with Daniel. They're in love with each other. And yeah, she's clearly very upset that he's missing. But Mitchell tries to comfort her and tells her that Merlin gave Daniel some really valuable intel. Adria knows that, so she's going to keep him alive anyway. But again, we all know that Daniel doesn't die. And even when he does die, he's not really dead.
Yeah. He always comes back.
He does. He always comes back. And of course, in the next scene, we see he is in fact still alive.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
He and Adria are on a ship. He seems to be held captive, I don't know, in a cell or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
And Adria comes in and asks how he's feeling. Daniel's feeling a bit hungover, but he says that the memories that Merlin gave him are basically gone at this point. So I guess everything kind of wore off alongside the mystical lightning powers, I'm assuming. Adria tries to be empathetic and says the burden must be awful and your brain simply wasn't built to handle that much information. And even though Daniel has said whatever he had is gone, Adria's not going to take his word for it and tells him that he needs to rest because they have a lot of work to do. Daniel doesn't like the sound of that, but that is the end of the episode.
Yeah. What happened to Ball? Did he die?
I think he died.
Okay. I was like, did they leave him behind? Was he? Yep. Okay.
He's got so many clones. I'm sure he's going to come back at some point.
So many clones.
But yeah, I think that specific one is, it's fair to assume he is dead.
Okay. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. I actually kind of completely forgot about him. But, but that would be my guess.
He's not important, so.
Nah. Did you like the episode?
I did. Not as much as the first half, I think. But I think that was just because I was enjoying like the questing part of this. And this just was a little less interesting because it was Daniel using magical powers to 3D print something. It just wasn't as exciting.
Yes. Using magical powers to do something that we can readily do now with just computers does make for a less interesting episode.
Yes. So overall, the 2 episodes together I liked, but the first part I definitely liked better. But it's frustrating that they still don't have their magic device.
Yeah.
Still. And also, what is this Daniel so special Adrian needs him nonsense? What's going on there? I don't know, but I'm worried I'm not going to like it.
Fair.
How about you?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I agree that the first part was better than the second part. This was a little bit tedious to me, of the
Fair.
jumping one planet to the next and Adria chasing them one planet to the next. Like, you know that she's going to catch up with them, and it just felt like they were kind of
True.
biding time. This felt like it could have been 1.5 episodes, so I see why they needed to stretch it into 2.
Yeah.
But this definitely felt like they were trying to kill time in this episode a lot, so
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy that aspect to it. As far as Daniel goes, I'm guessing that she thinks that he's still got some Merlin memories in there, even if he might not be consciously aware of that.
Maybe.
Or maybe she knows that he's also still got ancient memories in there, because that's been brought up before too. So my guess is she's hoping to tap into whatever subconscious memories he has, either from his time as an ancient or from Merlin, or both.
I do think that even before they got to this point, she was already sort of signaling that Daniel was special in some way. So yeah.
Yeah. My guess is it's got to do with that.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, once again, Daniel's special.
Yeah, he is.
And not actually dead.
Not
even though
actually dead.
people think he might be dead.
At least they didn't
So-
leave us hanging this time with that.
Yeah, true. But yeah, this part also just kind of felt like a little bit more of the same of, is Daniel dead? Is he not dead? Of course he's not dead. Also, he's special.
Yeah.
Yes, this has been the plot many, many times before.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was okay overall. I didn't dislike it, but yeah, definitely not as good as the first one, and a bit tedious. I wouldn't say boring, but tedious.
Yeah. Will the next thing we talk about be tedious?
Hopefully not. It will be Stargate Atlantis, Season 3, Episode 11. There are so many numbers on this page because it says The Return Part 2, which is why I almost said Season 2. And then when I finally got Season 3 out, I almost said Episode 2.
See, it's
It was harder than it should have been.
so many numbers.
Yes. TVDV, Season 3, Episode 11 is where this is coming from. The Return, Part 2. The Atlantis team goes against orders to try and save Atlantis from replicator control and to rescue General O'Neill and Richard Woolsey, who are trapped in the occupied city. According to IMDb, the team returns to Atlantis in an attempt to regain control of the city. Less interesting.
Yes.
And more brief than the TVDB description. Both of them have a thumbnail of Jack, though, so yay.
Yay, more Jack. I already watched it this morning and I liked it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Nice. I have not watched it yet because I only just finished watching this episode about
Fair.
10 minutes before we started recording. I'd watched half of it on Wednesday when I thought we still might be recording that day, and then Wednesday just got busy. And then yesterday was busy.
I was sitting there with the cat in my lap and I'm like, well, I guess I could do this. This is semi-productive watching the next episode.
Fair. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Thank you so much for listening to Stargatesing with Kathy and Mary. Our fully listener-supported program couldn't be done without you. Show your support by telling everyone you know how awesome this show is. Find us at stargatesing.space. Reach us by email, stargatesing@gmail.com. Find us on social media at Blue Sky. Get some merch, tinyurl/stargatesing. And finally, show your financial support at patreon.com/stargatesing. Thank you for traveling through the gate with us. Catch you next time on Stargatesing with Kathy and Mary.
I'm Kathy.
I'm Mary.
And you've been listening to Stargatesing. The end.
The end. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was short. How do we manage that?
I don't know. I did skip a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.